Guys, we're back with another exciting episode here at the Tower Building. The reason why it's called the Tower Building is because there's a lot of towers. Now, the first thing we're going to do here is we're just on one of the many roofs that need to be replaced, and this is our hardest one. In this exciting little video today, we're going to be replacing this roof underneath me, and it has a drain in it, and that's one of the hardest parts about this roof is that there is a drain, a vent pipe, and walls to contend with. Now, this is what it looks like so far. It's a modified bitumen roof. It needs to be replaced because it's leaking. And there's an old scabby ass drain that we're gonna replace as well. But as with all the other roofs, we've been switching them over to TPO and doing a very nice job at it. Very, very bright. Obviously that's a roof we haven't done yet, but that one's done. That one's done, that one's done, and that one's done. Well, they're pretty much done. They're 90% done because all we need to do now is just put the drip edges on and they're done. So we're in the long line of these roofs. And I just want to bring you guys along for this one so you guys can see what we're doing and what it takes to replace these, because we've gone through so much. We've gone through the ringer replacing the other roofs, framing them up and insulating them and doing all this crazy work. Let's get to this job. Well, let's get to this roof and let's replace it because it's time. The first step is to start ripping off the roof. So that's the first thing we're gonna do. We're gonna cut a hole and start ripping it off and throwing the roof down. First layer to modified is up, and what we can see here is that they used a fiberboard as a cover board, and I'm not exactly 100% sure why, because you can't torch directly to it. So maybe these guys were a little bit more adept to doing EPDM. Let's see what's underneath this layer of fiber. Plywood is probably going to be okay in certain areas. Okay, a little bit of water. Okay, a little bit of water here. Oopsie. A little bit of water. We got some screws in here. Okay, let's see if we can pull up these sheets of ply and see what's really going on here, because I have a feeling that they just kind of stripped the roof at some point, put down another layer of plywood just to secure everything too, and then put down this fireboard. Now, what we've seen on all the other roofs is that when we've pulled up the fireboard and the plywood underneath it has been rotted more than the top sheet. So you know they were just covering up a lot of bullshit. Now, we're gonna get all these screws unscrewed and get all the fireboard off. And then we're most likely going to pull off that next layer of plywood, even though it looks perfectly okay. Well, for now. Okay, I've just unscrewed a sheet of plywood, well, a little piece of it. And what I've noticed is our worst nightmare, which is the same thing happened on all the other roofs. Now, this is the funny thing here, because they have this new layer of plywood that looks really okay. Underneath it, everything is rotted. Like, this is just dry rotted. Now I think they use the plywood to smooth everything out and give them a nice clean surface to go to, which I guess is a plan. They got it from Home Depot. You can see by the barcode. It was a little bit wet, but here's the problem with going over a roof like this. It means that you leave the cancer. Wood rot is like cancer, and if you leave it in the building, it just ends up getting worse and worse and worse. Now, they didn't want to remove the cant strips because they thought that was probably hard to make. So that's probably why they went over. I can't imagine any other reason. I just don't understand it, but we're gonna get all this ripped out now. All the fireboard's gonna come off, the plywood's gonna come off, and then the other layer of plywood is gonna come off as well. And this is gonna really, once we get this reframed or re-plywooded, this is really gonna change the way the roof looks. In the way that it cleans it up and gives us a real solid surface to give us another 20 years of life out of this building before anything else has to be done to it. Well, we should get a lot more than that, but we're hoping for at least 20. Now, that's the idea. It'll work. Okay, it's moment of truth. Let's see if my prediction was right. Okay, and let's see. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and I'm definitely not wrong. Wow, that's pretty bad. Look at the big gaps in the holes. This is crazy. I don't know why they didn't just remove the plywood. It would have just been so much easier. It would have saved money on screws. Well, okay, the framing's a little bit fucked, ain't it? A little bit. Okay. Oh, wee. Look at how dry that is. Okay. There's no date on this plywood, is there? 1932. 1932. That's the thickness. There's no actual... Wow. Not every day you find something so bad. The leaks here must have been really terrible. If you see how bad this plywood's rotted. Whoa, crazy. I think they would have saved money by using nails versus screws, and they could have just removed this plywood. But hey, what do I know? You know? Damn. Okay. I'm still a little bit shocked. I'm a little bit in awe. I don't even know what to say at this point. I feel like it's, wow. Eric, if you be real careful, we can reuse that plywood. Of course, we're not going to reuse it. Oh, actually, there might be a date there. Let's see. 5/20. What year, though? I wish we could figure it out. It's 40/20 rated. Now that bombshell's been dropped on us, we're going to keep on going and find what other bombshell's going to fall on us next. Okay, let's do it. Can strips are coming out nice and easy. Now they are really dry rotted and nasty, but I guess that's what they were trying to save. It's beyond me why. Because if you think about it, there's not much left to this old wood. Like, this is seen better days. So it beats me why they wanted to save it. But that's the can strips out. Now it's time to rip out all the plywood, because the can strips were kind of like securing the other layer down, and we want to just get rid of everything, clean it all up, and make sure this building is really, really clean by the time we're done. Wow. Unbelievable. It's crazy. The top roof wasn't that bad. It was leaking, don't get me wrong. It had water infiltrating here when the drain was blocked. But overall, not too bad. Now, it was the roof before it that was completely rotted, and when we pull up these sheets of ply, you're going to see how quickly it's always turned to shit. But I've unscrewed most of them. We're going to pull them up, and we'll see how it is. But holy shit, this is crazy. I don't know why they didn't just want to do it right. But then again, if everyone did everything right, I wouldn't have a job, right? So there's that. Anyways, back to it. Eric was good enough to rip off all the plywood and take out all the nails. So now we're on to the next part, which is going to be reframing this section over here, because we have a lot of rot down here, which kind of sucks. But so we have 2 or 3 inches of rot, so I have to sister up each one of them, which is put a piece of wood right next to each one of them. And I would like to replace them, but the problem is they're so long and then they're built into the wall. So it'd be hard. There's no way to bear load in the center of the building. So all I could do here is sister, because there is no other option. Unfortunately, there's nothing else I can do. This is what it looks like right now. So we got 1 skylight, 2 skylight, 3 skylight, and 4 skylight. But we don't know if we're going to open them or not. That's still in, they're still trying to make a decision. But we're going to relocate this drain from here, this little shit drain. We're going to bring it over 1 bay and then bring it over 8 feet from the wall. And it's going to land somewhere over there. Well, at least that's the idea. So that's what we're going to do next, is reframe this, and then we'll start on that drain there. Okay, now that the installation's mostly done and the framing's done, it's time to break out that cast iron drain. So let's do that now. Let me actually show you guys what we're going to use here to break out that cast iron. We're going to use this pipe snapper. And this is a medieval device used for torturing people. Now, if you look very closely, you'll see these little rings that are on this chain. And these rings, basically all they do is clamp down on the pipe and then break it. Since we're cutting cast iron, it's very hard to cut with, it's very, very hard to cut with the Sawzall or a grinder. I mean, it's possible, but it takes a long time. So this is actually a lot quicker, and hopefully we don't break the ceiling. So let's get this wrapped up around here, and then we'll snap this pipe real quick. Oh Now, what I do is open up these jaws. These jaws click onto the sides of this chain. And from there, this is the main snapper, and that just clamps down real tight and breaks the cast iron. You'd be surprised it can actually snap cast iron. Okay, here we go. Now,
what do you want?
Okay. We're almost there. I can feel it. We're almost there. It's just tedious. Oi. So this is supposed to work. Oh shit, there's water in that pipe. Okay. Oh, that's the pipe snapper. And that's the pipe snapped. Now we can take this out. And that's it. Hey. See, that's how it works. Pretty easy, I think. It's just, it always frightens me a little bit, even though it doesn't even make that much noise. Look at this garbage that's in here. Oh man. Oh, that's nasty. Okay, let's get that pipe connected, and we're gonna move the drain over a little bit. Not too bad. Drain has been placed. It's going to move over just a hair, but from over there to here, it's just a better move for us because it centralizes the drain a little bit better and makes it so that the drain is easier for the installation to work out, but also for the water not to have to drain as far. So the next thing we're going to do is put our next sheet of ply, and then I'm going to put the next sheet of ply after that here somewhere, and then I'm going to find out exactly where to put my drain insert, my topside mounting plate. And that's going to allow me to line up my drain, and then the drain is ready to go. But there's a reason we haven't insulated here, is because these lights are not air sealed lights. And what that means is that they are a fire hazard if you insulate around them. So we're not going to insulate around them, which even though it would be nice to do, we can't because they're old lights. And the new lights you could do it, but these lights you can't. So we're leaving it open, plus they might end up using those skylights. And so we're getting there. We're getting there. One sheet at a time. It's the next day. Let's talk about what we're gonna do next. Now, last night we got the drain in, we got the flashings cut around the perimeter. The only thing I'm missing right there is a flashing still sticking up there. No big deal. The first thing we're gonna do when we lay out for our drain is we're gonna pitch all the water into the drain. Now I have these pieces of ice already cut at a 45-degree angle. And what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna take these pieces and they're all gonna be shedding water in with the high point being back here. And then it's gonna be 4 slopes into the drain. And then I'm gonna cut out around the drain to make it nice and flush. But what I did is I marked from the center of the drain 4 feet out. You'll see it right there as a mark, 4 feet out. And then what I did is I measured the back wall to that line and I just transferred it there and there. And that's how we're finding it on all 4 sides. So now we're just gonna install the rest of this ISO and then it's TPO time. ISO's down and we got our first piece of TPO set in place. Now it's 14 feet across, but I cut it a little bit small. I was gonna say that was a planned thing, but it's not. I totally screwed it up, but it works out better for us anyways. Even though it's not as nice, it works out better. So there's that. Not always perfect. Okay. Now the drain's cut out, it's ready to go. So it's actually, where is it? It's actually in there a little bit. That's not too bad, okay. A little deeper than I thought it was gonna be. It actually falls nicely in that sheet, else it would have been a hard time trying to put the center joint in the drain. But it works out pretty good. And we got our edges all bent up, everything's ready to go. We're just gonna peel this back, glue it, and then we're off to the next piece. We're at the last stage of this roof, and all we really need to do now is weld the seam. So we got one single seam here. I got a seam on the back wall that I messed up. We got another one here, and I got a small piece I got to put in there, but I'll probably end up hand welding that. So next thing we'll do is weld it up, and then we have termination bar to put on, and that's going to finish up the roof at the top edge all the way around the perimeter. And I put a little bit of a bigger curb here just because I wanted to make it easier to put the roof down and make it look a little nicer. But once we get that termination bar down, then we're just waiting on drip edges, and it's no big deal because we're still waiting on all of them for the other roofs too. I'm pretty excited how this roof came out. I think it came out really, really nice. This is definitely a nice roof. It's a lot better than what they had. Okay, let's get that robot turned on, weld all these seams, and we can get out of here. And that's it. The whole roof is done. Wow. We still got to put the drip edge on there to finish off the look of the building because I think it'll look really nice if we make a nice clean edge there. But for the flat roof itself, it's done. I still have to weld a boot onto that pipe right there, but that's in due time. But the termination bar came out nice and clean, nice and tight. We're right in the mortar joint, which is perfect. And it looks nice and dry. I don't think it's going to leak. I really think this is going to be great. It's going to be a nice roof. But drain came out real nice too. Nice cast iron Zurin Z100. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We still got to do something with that there. I still got to screw that or something, and I got to do 2 corner patches, but when the drip edge comes in, that's when I'll do that. But overall, it's a pretty good job. All right, boys, that's it. Time for me to go home, and I'll see you guys later.